Yo, what's poppin', people? Your boy Snacks is back in the building with another banger. You know how we do. You know how we get down. And on this weekend, we doing something dramatic, but we got to give a shout out to the CU aunties first of all before we do or start anything. Big ass shout out to the CU auntie for all the love and all this. And it's been a roller coaster weekend so far. And since their dear leader, Mr. Kevin Stefanski, has been fired, things have been off the rails in Cleveland with this coaching search. So many different opinions, so many different avenues to go down. But I was watching Baskin and listening to Baskin and Phelps last night, and they had an interesting conversation about Shadur Sanders and the way that he affects this coaching search. So my question to you is, as we dissect what Baskin and Phelps was talking about, is this coaching search going to be affected by Shedeur in a positive light or a negative light? And a lot of people have varying opinions, but we're going to talk about it. Y'all ready? Let's do the doggone thing. Now, the opinions on Shedeur is widely known. Shedeur is a megastar in the NFL. And with the Cleveland Browns being his current team, he is the megastar on that team besides Myles Garrett and Lil Dillon. Lil Dillon's still on the team now. Don't y'all get it twisted. But the question was, how does Shadur Sanders, affect this coaching search that is ongoing with the likes of Harbaugh, McDaniel, and a lot of OCs, a lot of different people. But we're going to listen to Baskin and Phelps and try to unravel. And then we want your opinions in the comment section. Tell us what you think.
I want to preface this by saying that Andrew Berry did not give Shadur Sanders a gigantic vote of confidence when he talked earlier this week. I mean, he made it sound like, especially when he started talking about, what was the exact wording on that? Do you remember, Dan? It was like outside influence, outside quarterback. Jeff made a big deal about this early, and I'm trying to remember the exact words that he used. It was
now. What I'm saying is, I wouldn't want Andrew Berry to give the exact gigantic vote of confidence going out and saying, well, Shadur Sanders going forward next year is going to be our QB1. Right now, you're in the middle of a coaching search. You don't want that. You want to understand the coaches that are coming in. You can tell them that in the meeting or in the interview, but you want to leave that coaching search up to everybody so they can get in. And out.
Outside, maybe like an outside factor at quarterback that could come in from beyond the system, from what they already have. I'm on the record. I'm ready to roll. If Shadur Sanders is starting quarterback next year, I'm down with it. I have no problem with it. I did see progress, and I don't know how much of that was Kevin Stefanski's credit. I read some of the things that are just ridiculous that are said about Kevin Stefanski and Shadur Sanders. I can't believe some of the things that people just assume that are. It's actually like, come on, man. Do you really think Kevin Stefanski, especially, woke up in the morning and go, oh, well, let's lose, and I'm going to take my no. The biggest problem I had with Kevin and Shedeur was when they made him the number 2 quarterback, they didn't get him ready. There's just no.
There it is. Somebody in this media finally said it. When they gave him the number 2 spot, they didn't get him ready. They didn't let him take reps with the ones. They did not prepare him. Even though Dylan Gabriel was a rookie also, But being the number 2 quarterback, being the backup quarterback, and have never taken a snap from center, thrown to the receivers, or done anything of the sort. And if your number 1 quarterback goes down or gets hurt or just has to step out for a few plays for any reason, I have no chemistry with the receivers. I don't know how it feels to take a snap from this center. I don't know how fast the ball comes back. I don't know which side of the strings he puts the ball in my hand when I'm under center. It's a lot of things that happen. They've never heard my cadence. They've never heard my count. They've never heard my temp when I'm calling for the ball. There's a lot of things that go into that, not just taking snaps. But that's the first time I heard somebody say that.
No question about it. If you wanted to look at him and
lock in growth without locking up your money.
Oh, no, we're not.
A Marcus no penalty CD offers both the locked in competitive APY.
The folks that want to wear the glasses that don't see that he was a 5th round draft pick, I get it. I understand it. He played better than he proved to everybody that he was worthy of more than being a 5th round draft pick. I say that with no hesitation.
Right.
And that to me, I want to see if he can do something more with this. I don't know if he is the future. I don't. I didn't see enough of him last year. And you know what? I would say that about any rookie quarterback. Like, we put this kid in a bad position early on.
Now, you can say that you didn't see enough from Shedeur to prove that he was not the quarterback of the future for next year, but you can't say he didn't earn the right to at least compete for the starting job next season. And there are people out there saying that we've seen enough, EPA this, PFF this. All of that means nothing. And even though you talk about his EPA stats or his Pro Football Focus stats and saying that he was the worst quarterback in the league or on the Browns, but what did the 2 quarterbacks before him do? If they were better than him, why didn't they produce the wins that he produced? Why didn't they produce the drama and the excitement for the fans that he produced? Why didn't they produce the plays that he produced? Why did they not hype up the locker room and get his teammates behind him the way that he produced? If he is the worst quarterback on stats in the entire league on his team, why was his performance better than his teammates if you're going by stats? That's all I'm saying. But I'm going to finish letting them cook.
You threw him out there as the number 2 quarterback. Next thing you know, he's out on the field, had no practice time with the guys on the field. That's ridiculous. Right. The second you knew he was going to be number 2, that was the moment you should have had him, ready to be and to go out on the field and to play with the first teamers, at least if you just got him a little bit of practice before, which would be understandable for a backup quarterback. When you made him number 2, you owed it to him, you owed it to the team, you owed it to your fans to make sure that he would be ready and not have to come in ice cold that first game. And so each and every week there was some improvement there. And, I sit here and I get ripped left and right. I read this all the time where I say he makes you relevant. Guess what? People talk about the Cleveland Browns because Shadur Sanders is on the team.
Thank you. People talk about the Cleveland Browns because Shadur Sanders is on the team. The Cleveland Browns has gotten more press, has gotten more coverage, more YouTube videos, more articles written about it since its inception in 1999 in these last years, since Shadur Sanders, 9 months since Shadur Sanders has been on this team. He makes you relevant. He sells out your stadium. He sells a plenty of jerseys. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you when he has done what no other quarterback has done since they've been here? Since 1999. You wasn't getting nationally televised games when Dylan Gabriel was playing, when Joe Flacco was playing, but you got him when Shedeur was playing. That makes a difference. You got nationally televised game when Shedeur was on the field. If Shedeur would have started the entire season, you would have got a Monday night game. You would have got a Sunday night game. You would have got a Thursday night game. Simply off of the strength of who he is. But we don't know what we're talking about. Let me let him continue to cook.
Regardless of whatever he does on the field, that is a fact. And that is a fact when you have a high-profile quarterback. Some improvement there. And, I sit here and I get ripped left and right. I read this all the time where I say he makes you relevant. Guess what? People talk about the Cleveland Browns because Shadur Sanders is on the team, regardless of whatever he does on the field. That is a fact. And that is a fact when you have a high-profile quarterback that has millions of followers on social media that people are interested. Guess what? At the end of the day, this is an entertainment business. At the end of the day, it's about entertainment, and it's about teams making money. Hate to say that's the truth, but it is. We sit here as fans, and we want to believe that we're in la-la land trying to understand that, he earns this or he deserved this. Nothing's given. You know that. LeBron taught you that, didn't he?
He just cooking.
So, again, I walk into next season wondering what the next head coach is going to do or how he is going to lead Shadur Sanders or any other quarterback that he may have in front of him.
Yeah. The question is, what is the next head coach going to do? When you're sitting in that meeting with Andrew Berry, do you tell Andrew Berry, this is what I can do with your team, with Shedeur at the helm? Or do you tell Andrew Berry, I don't want Shedeur. I don't want to play with Shedeur. I don't want the distractions that Shedeur brings. No, it's not distractions in the locker room, but it's distractions in the press. I don't want to have to answer questions about why I'm not playing Shedeur. Does Andrew Berry say, okay, well, you may exit stage left, or let's see how we can work that out? You tell me.
Here's Andrew Berry from his press conference earlier in the week.
We saw a lot of progress with Shedeur this year. I think that's both mentally, physically, playing the position. He's still very much a work in progress, like many rookie quarterbacks are. But I think we saw some really good things in terms of, his playmaking, his accuracy, his ability to extend with his feet. And I think I'd also give him credit, as well as our offensive staff, for bringing him along in terms of his pocket management, his situational awareness and things of that nature. Now, that all being said, we're going to do our work on the quarterback market. It's too important of a position, and it's something that has to be solidified. I can't sit here and tell you today, whether the solution or the starter in 2026 is internal or external, but it's something that we're going to work through, over the next several weeks. And quite honestly, the new head coach will also have a lot of input into that as well.
So, Shadur Sanders fans, are you mad at Andrew Berry for what he said there? He didn't.
No, he didn't completely commit to Shedeur, but he didn't say he wasn't going to be around either. He said the next head coach would have some say. He didn't say the next head coach would have complete autonomy, which reaffirms that they are bought into Shedeur, because it's something that we would have to discuss. Not that you're going to come in and get complete reign and tell us, no, we can't use Shedeur, or we don't want to use Shedeur simply because you don't like what he brings to the table. Have you seen the tape? Now tell me what you don't like. That's how that should be handled.
Give you what you wanted to hear. You wanted to hear, no questions asked, Shadur Sanders is your starting quarterback next year. You did. That's what you wanted to hear. He didn't give that to you.
Nope.
And you might have already said, well, when they got rid of Stefanski, why didn't they get rid of him too? I hear you. A lot of people thought it was a package deal either way.
No.
The door is open for a quarterback next year. whether you want to believe it or not.
I don't think so. I'm not going to buy into the door being open for another quarterback. Where are you going to get him from? Where are you going to put him at? Unless you're going to trade Shedeur or Dylan, why would you bring in another quarterback and have another 4-quarterback competition? Because that's what's going to happen. Because Deshaun, for those of you who haven't gotten it through your head, Deshaun is not going anywhere. Deshaun will be quarterback 1 or quarterback 2 next season. Either way, he will be on that roster. Stop listening to Bull talking about he going to cut Deshaun. That's not going to happen. Deshaun will be on the team unless some other team magically appears out of somewhere and say, we'll take Deshaun and that doggone guaranteed contract. Because he's not changing that up. No matter if he means he has to sit in Cleveland for the next 2 years and don't play football. Because that money is guaranteed. It has to be paid regardless. So Cleveland fans, Deshaun is not going anywhere. So the only way you bring in another quarterback is if you trade Shedeur or trade Dylan because they're on cheaper contracts, or just completely let them go, release them, and then you can have a quarterback competition.
All right, let's whip the T-bone between the angry dogs. Here we go. First, the way that the quarterback situation was handled from training camp on the minute that he was drafted was a joke. It was. They did the best they could with what they have. I will give Kevin Stefanski that credit. I think he did the best he could, but it was a crappy situation to be handed 2 rookie quarterbacks. Good luck. There's no way you can develop 2 rookie quarterbacks. We've talked to former GMs. We talked to former coaches. Mike Martz came on this area and said, there's no way in hell you can develop 2 rookie quarterbacks at the same time. That's silly.
It wasn't a crappy situation, and it wasn't that you can't develop 2 rookie quarterbacks, which you can if you want to take the time. But Stefanski did not want to take the time. You can create extra time in your practice schedule to do those things. Stefanski didn't want to do that. Stubbornness is what got Kevin Stefanski fired. The willingness to do it the way he wanted to do it is what got Kevin Stefanski fired. Not being able to recognize that Shedeur was a better quarterback than Dylan is what got Kevin Stefanski fired. His evaluation process, his management of the quarterback room, and his doggone play calling and turning the plays over to doggone Tommy Rees. That is what got Kevin Stefanski fired. Along with pride. And pride comes before the fall. Those are the things that got Kevin Stefanski fired. Because Kevin Stefanski was a proud man. Yeah, he's going to go on plenty of interviews. He's going to maybe even be able to get a job. But will it be a head coach or an offensive coordinator? That's the question. Because everybody that interviews is not going to get a job. And if Cleveland is not interviewing Antonio Pierce for this position, they are crazy. Jim Harbaugh fits in here. But we'll talk about John Harbaugh, not Jim, John, on another video. Because a lot of people thinking John Harbaugh don't want Shedeur. Wrong. He tried to draft him. So, it's a possibility. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts. Shadur Sanders, is he a positive impact on the Browns coaching search? Or is he a negative impact on the Browns coaching search? Either way it goes, Shadur Sanders is in the building because Andrew Berry is completely bought in. But y'all let me know. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little star at the bottom, and hype your boy up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get out of here. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace out.